In this video, I'm going to be exposing Rob Reiner and 5 of his characters because recently Rob Reiner faked his death and the entire event is scripted and is connected to Charlie Kirk as well. Also, South Park did predictive programming of Rob Reiner's death, so make sure you guys watch the entire video. But before I get into this video, I just want to let you guys know about the new videos we have on our Patreon. So this video is about how Similac is proof that we're in a simulation. Also includes Matrix 4 Symbolism. This one is about Christmas death fakers. This video is about how Santa admits he's Satan after getting exposed. So if you're subscribed to our Patreon, then you already know Divine Sade made a video exposing Santa for being Satan. And a year later, they end up responding to that video. And now they're blatantly admitting in the media that Santa is Satan. And shout out to all of the Starseeds on our Patreon. When you join our Patreon, you get access to the Starseed group chat. If you don't know what a Starseed is, all you have to do is watch these videos, and if you resonate with the Starseed content, then that means you're a Starseed. So if you want to know the difference between NPCs and Starseeds, go watch these videos. The link to our Patreon is in the description. Also, go watch this numerology video so you can understand the energy of every single day, because every single day on the calendar has a certain energy behind it. And if you want to know the energy behind it, go get the 2026 numerology calendar so that you can use numerology to your advantage every single day. It is available on our website, gematriaworld.com, and I'm also going to put a link to it in the description, and our Patreon link is also in the description. Thank you guys so much for your support, and now let's get back into the video. So Robert Reiner has 5 other characters, but before I expose all of his characters, I need to expose the scripting of his entire death, because this will prove to you that it's fake and scripted. They do this stuff to harvest your energy, and if you know about it, then you won't be affected. So Rob Reiner died at age 78. 7 plus 8 is 15. Rob Reiner has his photo with his son, and his son is wearing a shirt with the number 15. This is clearly a reference to the numerology of his age at death. And on top of that, Rob Reiner died on December 14th at night. So most of us didn't find out about it till December 15th, because that's when all of the news articles started being published. So his death is also connected to December 15th because it crosses over. So this is also why his son is wearing the number 15. It's all subliminal programming. And on top of that, he died on December 14th purposely because dead equals 14 in gematria, which proves that his entire death was scripted. Then this right here proves that he was scripted. When he was created, his name was scripted out with his age of death. Robert and Robert Reiner both equal 78 in gematria, and he dies at age 78. This means that when Rob Reiner was created, they purposely gave him a name that has a value of 78 in gematria because they were going to fake his death at age 78. So nothing about these celebrities is real. They're fake from the very beginning, and their entire life is fake. This is why his first name Robert matches to Masonry with the number 33, 84, and 39. And then Rob Reiner matches to Death Hoax with the number 58 and 35. So this is more proof that Rob Reiner's death was a hoax. Now let's talk about the South Park predictive programming. So Rob Reiner was featured in a South Park episode in 2003, and they purposely make celebrities into cartoon characters to show you that celebrities are also characters on the world stage. In the South Park episode, Rob Reiner died when Eric Cartman stabbed him with a fork. This is huge predictive programming because Rob Reiner ends up getting stabbed in real life 22 years later, as you can see by his cause of death right here. And this South Park episode is called Butt Out. And when Cartman stabbed him, it caused him to melt into goo. And this goo symbolizes the fact that celebrities are not real humans. And I can't play the full video for you guys on YouTube due to copyright, so make sure you guys join my Patreon so you can watch the full version of this video, where I also include the clips that I couldn't show on YouTube. So if you're watching this video on Patreon right now, I'll show you guys the clip. So as you guys can see by that clip, it was clearly predictive programming because Cartman stabbed Rob Reiner, and in this episode, Cartman was looking up to Rob Reiner almost as if he saw him as a father. And 22 years later, we see that Rob Reiner's son ends up stabbing his father, Rob Reiner. So that's more predictive programming. But anyways, I want to talk about this goo situation. So he started bleeding goo, which is very symbolic to the fact that celebrities are not humans. I have a really good video about this on Patreon where I exposed Elon and all of his characters, but I also explained how celebrities are demonic entities. So these demonic entities infiltrate amongst us by creating artificial vessels that resemble humans. So make sure you guys go watch both of these videos so you can understand what celebrities are and how celebrities' vessels are created, because they create artificial humanoid vessels and these demonic entities inhabit these vessels, and then they go out in the world and infiltrate amongst us, and some of them become celebrities. So keep that in mind because I'm going to discuss that further in this video. But first, let's talk about the predictive programming of this South Park episode that Rob Reiner was featured in. So this episode was released on December 3rd, 2003. And then 22 years later, Rob Reiner dies the same way he did in the episode on December 14th, 2025. So of course, he dies in December because this episode came out in December. And the fact that this episode came out 22 years before he died is crazy because the way he died in the episode is nearly identical to the way that he died in real life. So this proves that everything they do is scripted and they have to let you know beforehand. So I'm not surprised that Rob Reiner was featured in South Park because, as you can see, South Park and Robert have the same gematria of 39. And then South Park also matches to Charlie Kirk with the number 60 because Charlie Kirk also had an episode on South Park. As you can see, Eric Cartman played the role of Charlie Kirk in this episode. And then Comedy Central ended up removing the episode after Charlie Kirk died because this episode came out a couple weeks before he died. So it was clearly predictive programming. And make sure you guys go watch my Charlie Kirk video on Patreon because I showed a clip of Charlie Kirk admitting that he was going to die 20 days before it happened. The link to this video is in the description. Now let's talk about the connections between Rob Reiner and Charlie Kirk because both of them were featured on South Park and then they both die in 2025, 3 months apart. And the reason why these two characters are connected is because Charlie Kirk was a huge energy harvest ritual. So every character that they've killed around that time is going to be connected to him to make the energy harvest even bigger. So as you can see, Rob Reiner talked about Charlie Kirk's death, and this was back in September, and he said that Charlie Kirk's death was an absolute horror, and he said he unfortunately saw the video of it. And just because there's a video of a celebrity dying doesn't mean that it's real, because like I said before, celebrities are just demons temporarily inhabiting an artificial vessel, so they don't care about the vessel. The vessel is just created so that they can infiltrate and push an agenda, and once they're done pushing an agenda, they kill off the vessel, and then the entity goes into another vessel. So that's why they don't care if they kill off the vessel on camera because it's not really them. But anyways, these two characters are connected in so many different ways because Rob Reiner has a movie with his son called Being Charlie. So this clearly connects to Charlie Kirk. And of course, he ends up stabbing him 3 months after Charlie Kirk died. And this movie is called Being Charlie, and it's about a father-son relationship, which is very ironic because Cartman saw Rob Reiner as a father and then he stabbed him. And that's the same thing that Nick Reiner did. So this movie is called Being Charlie, and the main character is called Charlie. So this was clearly predictive programming to Charlie Kirk's death 10 years before it happened. And the connections get even deeper because the guy that played him is called Nick Robinson. And this connects to Rob Reiner's death because Rob Reiner's son is Nick Reiner, and Nick Reiner is the one that ended up killing him. So the first name is connected to Rob Reiner's son, and then the last name, Robinson, is connected to Charlie Kirk because Tyler James Robinson is the guy that is being accused of killing Charlie Kirk. Another connection is the fact that the South Park episode with Rob Reiner was released in 2003 and Tyler James Robinson was born in 2003. And then the second main character in this movie is called David, which reminds me of the David case that is going on right now. All of these rituals that they're doing around the time of Charlie Kirk are all connected, and I talked about that in this video that I made on Patreon. I exposed 5 of David's characters, so if you guys want to know all of David's characters, go watch this video. Now let's expose all of Rob Reiner's characters. Rob Reiner's base character is Bug Flower. They look so much alike in these two comparisons. They even have a similar smile. And Bug Flower is the actor from They Live. He played a homeless man in the beginning and then he sold out at the end. So the biggest connection with Bug Flower and Rob Reiner, Bug Flower is in the movie They Live, and at the very end of this movie, they mentioned the year 2025, and Rob Reiner died in 2025. So in this scene at the end, the main characters find the aliens' headquarters, which is underground, and the aliens are giving a speech, and they said, our projections show that by the year 2025, not only America, but the entire planet will be under the protection and the dominion of this power alliance. This line is part of the aliens' message to their human collaborators, discussing the final stages of their takeover plan. So the aliens in this movie represent the demonic entities that are infiltrating amongst us because they're not from here. So that's why they call them aliens. And they said that by the year 2025, not only America, but the entire planet will be taken over by these entities. And they're not wrong, because right now in 2025, everybody is completely controlled as if nothing's going on. You know, there's barely any conscious people nowadays, which is proof that they admitted the truth in plain sight, that their main agenda was to keep everybody asleep, and that by the year 2025, it would be complete. And that's exactly what happened. Right now, everybody's asleep and they have full control over our planet. And I assume they brought up America because that was probably the first place that they wanted to have full control over. But it seems that now by 2025, they have control over the entire planet. And like I said, they brought up the year 2025 because Bug Flower is in that movie and Rob Reiner died in 2025. So it was predictive programming. And Divine Sade has a good video on our Patreon explaining the difference between NPCs and Watchers, because in the movie, the aliens represent the Watchers and the non-alien people represent NPCs who are not consciously aware of what's going on. So join our Patreon so you can watch this video to learn more. The link's in the description. In this movie, the demonic entities are infiltrating as regular humans. As you can see, these people are in a grocery store, but they're infiltrating as regular people. And in this movie, the main character puts on these glasses that allow him to see people for what they really are. And they made this meme where they show him looking at Mark Zuckerberg and he's an alien. And this is true because this is exactly what I demonstrate in my videos. For the last 5 years, I've been making videos exposing celebrities for being fake because their vessels are completely fake. They are demonic entities or aliens, whatever you want to call them. It's the same thing. And they're not from here, and they're infiltrating as humans with these artificial vessels. And I like how the movie even showed that they're infiltrating as politicians, because a lot of people think politicians are real for some reason, but they're actually the biggest controllers of the Matrix. So in this movie, when he puts on the glasses, it represents consciousness. You know, he represents a starseed that has finally regained consciousness to see people for what they actually are. So it's like my videos. There's been a lot of people that say ever since they started watching my videos, now they can see how celebrities are fake. make. So basically in my videos, it's like I'm giving you guys the glasses so that you can see celebrities and the world for what it really is. Because even commercials and ads are subliminal messages that are programming people every single day. As you can see, this is him looking at these commercials and ads with the glasses, and he sees what they actually say. This one says obey 4 times, which reminds me of all the NPCs that used to wear the Obey brand 15 years ago. And I call them NPCs because how do you not notice that you're wearing subliminal programming on your shirt? You know, the shirts literally just say obey. And then this other one says watch television because they want you to be numb and programmed. Nowadays, it's with the phones. Then this one says conform. This is why NPCs conform to everything. And then under it, it says buy. And this other one says consume. And NPCs are the biggest consumers. They keep people consuming constantly so that they're distracted from the reality of our situation. And it keeps you comfortable being a slave. This is why there's so much consumerism nowadays, especially with TikTok. And then this other one says stay asleep. So this is why NPCs can never wake up, because they're constantly being programmed to stay asleep. And then another one says reproduce, which is another agenda by the system to keep slaves reproducing so that they can stay slaves and so that the system could have more slaves. And then this other one says work, work, work. And that's what they program bots with so that they can always be working and think that's all there is to life. So here's a scene where he's looking at this woman getting her hair done and he's wearing the glasses, and he notices that the woman getting her hair done is not human, and the woman that's doing her hair is a human NPC that doesn't notice that she's doing the hair of a demon. And that's exactly what's happening in our everyday life. At the very end of the movie, the veil is lifted and the NPCs are able to see the demonic entities for what they actually are, and all of them get scared and shocked when they see them infiltrating amongst us. So this represents people after they watch my videos. You know, they go and the veil is finally lifted and they can see celebrities for what they actually are, because celebrities are demonic entities that took over our planet and they're infiltrating as humans all around us. And they love infiltrating as celebrities so that they can control the humans on a grander scale. So now let's get into the gematria connections with Buck Flower and Rob Reiner. So Buck Flower's real name is George Albert Flower, and Rob Reiner's full name is Robert Norman Reiner. Both of their first names are George and Robert, which have the same gematria of 39. And then Rob Reiner equals 31, just like George. And then Rob Norman Reiner equals 55, just like George Flower. And then this connection is interesting because Robert Reiner and Buck Flower both equal 696, and if you flip the 9, it's 666. And 666 is just a low vibration. This is why celebrities love using it. As you can see, Buck Flower even died at age 66, and Robert Norman Reiner equals 66 in gematria. I can't make this up. And his other character died at age 66, and he died on June 18th, 2004, which has a lot of sixes in it. June is the 6th month, and then 6 plus 6 plus 6 is 18, and then 2004 is also 6 because 2 plus 4 is 6. So this entire date has 5 sixes in it. This date is very interesting because it reminded me of how XXXTentacion also faked his death on this exact date. As you can see, he also died on June 18th, and his date of death also has a bunch of sixes in it. And I talked about that in my recent video on him and Jaden Smith. So go check out that video along with the full version because there's more information in this video. The full version is an hour long on my Patreon. I'll put a link in the description. Now let's move on to the next character. They made a younger character that is based off of Rob Reiner. And this is Randy Quaid. As you can see, he looks very similar to Rob Reiner. They have a similar smile, nose, and they both have this goofy look on their face. That's what made me notice this one. So this one is really obvious. Especially with this comparison right here, you can really see the similarities. And of course, these characters are connected in gematria and with their first names. So both of their first names start with a R. And Randy's full name is Randall Rudy Quaid, but he calls himself Randy. And Robert calls himself Rob. So that's another similarity that they have, is the fact that their stage names are just a shortened version of their real names. And as you can see, Randy Rudy Quaid and Rob Norman Reiner have the same gematria of 78 in the same cipher. And this is an insane connection because Rob Reiner died at age 78. And then his birthday is March 6th, which also connects to the 3 6s that I talked about earlier. But anyways, March 6th is written out as 3/6, which is 36. And his other character, Randall Quaid, equals 36 in gematria. I can't make this up, man. Why would these characters be connected in so many different ways in gematria? Now let's move on to the next character that they created based off of Rob Reiner. And this character is Jake the Snake, and they look so much alike. They have a very similar mustache, and Jake the Snake is his wrestler name, but his real name is Jake Roberts, which is another connection because his last name has Robert and his other character's first name is Robert. So both of these characters have Robert in their name. And a huge connection is the fact that Rob Reiner played a character called Snake in the Partridge Family, and this episode is called A Man Called Snake. So of course Rob Reiner plays a character named Snake, and his other character is called Jake the Snake. And the reason why he has a snake around him, and the reason why they do the snake symbolism, is because it represents how evil they are, because snakes are very evil and deceitful. This is why they displayed the snake in the Garden of Eden as being a deceitful creature, and they identify with that because they are high-level deceivers. And his name Jake is also a connection because Rob Reiner has a son named Jake Reiner. I can't make this up. This is a huge connection because Rob Reiner's other character is called Jake, and he has a son with the same name. And on top of that, their birthdays are even close together. Jake Reiner's birthday is May 2nd, and Jake Roberts' birthday is May 30th. So both of their birthdays are in the same month. And here's some more gematria connections. So Rob and Jake have the same gematria of 15 in the same cipher. And then Rob Reiner and Jake Snake also match up with the number 58. And Jake Roberts' full name is Aurelian Jake Smith. And even his full name matches to Rob Reiner's full name with the number 111 in the same cipher. And then Robert, Jake Smith, and Masonry all equal 33 in the same exact cipher. And then Rob Reiner's birthday is March 6, which is 3/6. Which is 36, and Jake equals 36. And then Jake's full name equals 78, and Rob Reiner died at age 78. If you haven't noticed, most of Rob Reiner's characters match up to the number 78 because it's all connected to his age of death. Now let's move on to the next character that they created based off of Rob Reiner. And this character is Rickon from Severance. Shout out to Devon Sade for noticing this one. And these two characters look so much alike. They even have a similar mustache, just like Jake the Snake. And they have similar hairstyle as well. And of course, his name in the show is Rickon, which starts with an R, just like his other character, Robert. So they both start with an R, and they're both 6 letters as well. And they match up in gematria. Robert and Rickon both equal 33 and 39. And of course, Robert, Rickon, and Masonry all have the same gematria of 33 and 39 in the same ciphers. If you haven't noticed, all of these characters are connected to Masonry, and his full name in the show is Rickon Laszlo Hale. And so his first and last name is Rickon Hale, which matches to Rob Reiner with the number 58. And then Rickon Laszlo Hale matches to Rob Norman Reiner with the number 91. And he's also known as Dr. Rickon Laszlo Hale because he has a PhD in the show. So even when you spell it out with a doctor included, his name still matches to Rob Norman Reiner with the number 78 in the same cipher. And that 78 should look familiar because, like I just showed you guys, Rob Reiner died at age 78, and his other character, Randy Quaid, also equals 78. So all 3 of these characters equal 78 in the same cipher. So this was the nail in the coffin that I was correct about all of these characters being the same. And the actor that plays Rickon in the show is Michael Lewis Curtis. And even his real name, Michael, matches to his other character, Robert, with the number 33 and 39, just like Masonry. And then Robert Reiner and Michael Curtis also match up with the number 63. And then both of their full names also match up with the number 89. And then Rickon Hale, which is his name in Severance, equals 36. And like I've been showing you guys, Rob Reiner's birthday is 3/6, like 36. and 36 reversed is 63, and I just showed you guys how Robert Reiner and Michael Kernis equals 63. Now let's move on to the last and final character in this group of characters, which is Mr. Drummond from Severance. Ironically, both of these characters are in the same show and they're the same, and the irony is that they're never in the same scene either. So this one is just a mockery because these two characters are clearly the same, and by putting them in the same show, it's like they're just mocking NPCs that can't see it. And this guy's real name is Oliver Derry Olafsson, and I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly, but it doesn't matter because these characters are not real people. So both of their full names have the same gematria of 89 in the same cipher, and then their first names also match up. So Rickon is his first name in the show, and then the actor that plays Mr. Drummond is Oliver, and Oliver matches to Rickon with the number 22, and then they're also connected with their birthdays. So Rob Reiner's birthday is March 6th, and the guy that plays Mr. Drummond, his birthday is March 3rd. So these two characters' birthdays are only 3 days apart. Also, I noticed that March 3rd is 3/3, which is 33, and it reminded me of all the 33s that I showed in this video. So Robert equals 33, Rickon is 33, Michael is 33, and Masonry is 33. So all of these characters are connected to 33. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to drop a like on this video and subscribe, and make sure you join my Patreon if you haven't already. The link's in the description below. Speaking of Patreon, I have a video exposing Mark from Severance on there as well, and it's in the Luigi video. So I just wanted to bring that up because I just exposed 2 other characters from Severance. So yeah, make sure you guys join our Patreon. We have 135 videos, and make sure you guys check out gematriaworld.com for the calculator and for the digital ebooks. The links are in the description below. Thank you guys so much for all of your support, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.